Today we're going to take a look at a few major events that helped lead us up to the beginning of the Civil War. The first of these events is the Dred Scott case. Dred Scott was born a slave in Virginia. He was moved by his owner to Missouri, was sold to another owner after his original owner passed away. That family relocated to Illinois and then Wisconsin, both free states, and then moved Dred Scott to Louisiana and back to Missouri. Because his family had been relocated from southern slaveholding states to northern free states and back to southern slaveholding states, Dred Scott sued the government for his freedom. He claimed that because he had lived in a free state, he should maintain his freedom and it should not be legal for him to be a slave. The Supreme Court eventually heard this case, and they came back with a decision denying Dred Scott his freedom. And more importantly, in the papers summarizing their decision, the Supreme Court said that Scott did not have the right to sue the government because he was property and not a citizen. And since he was not a citizen, he did not have that right. So they could not or would not grant him his freedom because the case itself was not legal. Of course, pro-slavery people favored this decision, and anti-slavery people were strongly opposed to it, so it was yet another event that further divided the nation. Our next event that leads us closer to the beginning of the Civil War were the Lincoln-Douglas debates. Stephen Douglas, the individual on top, was the Democratic senator from Illinois. The Republicans, a new political party, nominated Abraham Lincoln to run for Senate. The two agreed to hold 7 debates in various districts throughout Illinois, debating a number of issues, but the most important was the issue of slavery. Stephen Douglas ultimately won the election, but there were a few significant things that came out of these debates. First of all, Lincoln would become a national name. Prior to these debates, Lincoln was pretty much an unknown outside of Illinois. But as a result of these debates and the fact that they were published nationally, Lincoln became very well known. The Republican Party would now consider Lincoln as their frontrunner for the presidential election in 1860. These debates were widely publicized. Chicago newspapers recorded every word spoken at the debates, and then those transcripts were sent all over the country and published in newspapers all over the country. Depending on the newspaper that published it, the accounts of the debates were different. Pro-Democrat, pro-Douglas newspapers would edit the things Douglas said, take out any typos, take out any grammatical errors, and would leave Lincoln's side of the debate in the very rough form. Pro-Republican, pro-Lincoln newspapers would do the exact opposite. They'd edit Lincoln's words, and they would leave Douglas's words in the very rough form. So depending on which paper you read, you may have received a very different perception of the debates. And when Lincoln accepted his nomination to run for Senate as the Republican candidate in Illinois, he gave a speech. And in that speech, he used the phrase, "a house divided," saying that a house divided cannot stand. Meaning that a house, a nation like the United States, divided over an issue like slavery could not last, and that we would need to address this issue. Our third and final event was the raid on Harper's Ferry. Harper's Ferry was the National Armory. It was where the United States military kept its weapons, and it was located in what at the time was Virginia, now is part of West Virginia. John Brown, an abolitionist from the North, who had taken part in the events in Kansas that became known as Bleeding Kansas, organized a raid of the arsenal. His intent was to seize the weapons at the arsenal, distribute them to slaves, and then promote a slave uprising in the South, slaves fighting for their own freedom. The plan failed, and failed pretty miserably. 10 of Brown's men were killed. Brown was eventually arrested after he had initially escaped. He was put on trial and hanged for treason. The event's significant in the way it leads up to the Civil War because of the way Brown and his actions were perceived by the two sides. In the North, Brown was a hero. He was an abolitionist fighting for the cause of ending slavery. For Southerners, for pro-slavery people, Brown was nothing more than a terrorist. He had attacked the National Armory. These events, along with others that we'll discuss in class, helped lead us closer and closer to the brink of the Civil War.